Hey YouTube, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roman, and yes, we are back with another set of crime stories that this time I find to be deeply troubling, but also very concerning because these crime stories have been born out of some very troubling beliefs as well as conspiracy theories. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in this first story, coming from Polk County in Lakeland, Florida, we have a Bryan James Riley who is 33, and he has been accused of shooting 5 people and killing 4 people, including a 3-month-old baby, a 33-year-old woman, a 62-year-old grandmother, an 11-year-old girl, and shooting the family dog. Let's get into this. So Bryan Riley, he is a security guard for the ESS Global Corporation. So I think this company is basically a third-party company where you can hire them for security services for your events or something of that nature. Prior to this, he served in the U.S. Marines for about 4 years as a sharpshooter. He was deployed to Iraq in 2008 and Afghanistan in 2009 and 2010. He was honorably discharged, and he spent about 3 years in the reserves. So there's really no criminal history associated with him. He seems to be all well on the up and up. Days before the actual crime, Riley's girlfriend of 3 years said that she noticed him having some deeply troubling issues with PTSD. She noticed him being depressed in the past. She noticed him, having those issues, but he never seemed violent or, seemed like he would want to shoot or kill anyone. On August 29th, after he had did security for a church, he had came home and said that God spoke to him, and that he can speak directly back to God. And so she basically was like, oh, okay, whatever. She, really didn't pay any attention to it. She thought it was just something, that would go away. And so he said that God had asked him to help the folks in Hurricane Ida. So he had been packing up his car, buying items and supplies to go and assist some of the victims of Hurricane Ida. Along the week of this, one day that same week, he came home and he had purchased $1,000 worth of cigarettes. And he said that God told him he should do that as his relief gift for going to help the victims in Hurricane Ida. So on the day in question, he had claimed that he saw somebody on the lawnmower, and police investigators are believing that to be Gleason, the 32-year-old woman. And he had saw her on the lawnmower and told her that in his mind, he had thought that her daughter and had a name, the name was Amber, that she wanted to commit suicide and that he needed to speak to her. So he had went over to the house and knocked on the door to speak to someone and said that I need to speak to your daughter, Amber. Now, Gleason came to the door to say that there's no Amber here and you need to get away before we call the authorities. And so she even brought Amber, the girl in the house, the 11-year-old girl, like, this is not Amber, this is not her. But for some reason, he didn't believe it. So he left, and she did actually call the police, and the police came. About 20 minutes later, they searched the property, and they noted that nobody was in the area of suspicion. After they left, he came back, and once he came back, that's when he killed everyone in the house. The 11-year-old was the only one who survived with very much so critical injuries. And after killing everyone in the house, the grandmother, the 3-month-old baby, the 11-year-old girl, the 33-year-old mother, and even shooting the family dog, he decided to have a shootout with police. So once the police arrived to the scene on the second visit, he decides to have a shootout with the police. Now, what's interesting is that he created this sort of diversion in the road where he put those little orange stripers in the road to divert the police somewhere else. But instead, they found the home, and as they did, he tried to have a shootout with them. But luckily enough, no police officers were killed in this incident here. So they subdued him. They got him in the car. Now, when he got to the ER, he tried to reach for one of the police officers' guns, but they were able to subdue him again, and this time hold him down. Now, once all of that happened and he was arrested and was interviewing with the police officers, they've noted that he is now trying to claim mental insanity and insanity defense. Basically, he's saying that they were pleading for their lives, looking at him, begging them for their lives, and he still decided to shoot them, which is arguably a defense that I'm crazy. And so they're not believing it. The judge denied his bond this past Monday. So he's being charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and this carries a death penalty or life without parole. So my thoughts. First of all, this is a very, very, very unfortunate incident. A totally unfortunate incident where you have innocent people conducting their innocent lives, going about their business as they would normally do so, and being sort of inflicted by someone else's mental issues. I can't really, blame this on anyone. I can't really say that there's any person that could have seen this coming, because everything is saying that he was okay. He didn't have a history of, doing a criminal history, a violent history. But what's most triggering to me is that after he did the church duty assignment, he came home to his wife and said God spoke to him and he can speak directly back to his wife. Now, that to me was the actual trigger. That was the actual moment where everything seemed to have appeared to gone downhill. Could his wife have done something about that? Could she have called someone? Could she have, maybe reported it to someone? Yeah, but I think when you've been with someone for so long, you don't anticipate that an outburst like that could turn into something where he's killing 4 people and wounding someone. This one really, really shocked me. It really caught me off guard. I'm very shocked that he didn't kill himself. I thought that he was gonna commit suicide once this was all done, but he didn't, which leads me to believe that he still values his own life and that what he did was definitely in the moment. I don't know if he was on any illegal drugs. I don't know if, he had a conversation with someone at the church, but it does seem to be very suspicious that after that moment and that during that period of time, things for him seem to have switched up. Yeah, you drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. And do you think that it is, your spouse should be able to tell these different signs and find and identify someone to offer some support and assistance? Like, I'm not married, so I wouldn't know the significance of this and how that should have been played out. But I do feel like there could have been some sort of apprehension to support his claims. Okay, let's go speak and sit down with someone. I don't know, but yeah, you drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this story. This next story is completely out of this world. So we have a Precious Bland of Miami, a mother of 6, formally charged with murder after drowning her 15-month-year-old daughter in the tub. Let's get into this. So Precious Leslie Bland, she's 38. She was charged in Miami-Dade Court with 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated child abuse. So apparently around approximately 9 p.m., police were called to her home by her husband, Evan Bland. And Evan Bland told the police that all day that day she seemed apparently agitated, like something was bothering her. And she eventually started saying that everyone's gonna die, Jesus Christ is coming back, COVID-19 is what's taking everyone out, and that's his sign that he's coming back. And so he said that led to her filling the bathtub up with water and actually getting her 15-month-old daughter, putting her in the tub face down and drowning her. Now, during this time, he was trying to stop her and, pushing her and holding her back. And Precious called out to her daughter, her 11-year-old daughter, to bring the knife, and her 16-year-old daughter to bring the knife. Go get the knife, bring me the knife. And so her 16-year-old daughter, listening to her mom as she would normally do, goes and get the knife and brings the knife into the bathroom where her father is struggling with the mother, trying to keep her from drowning the baby. The mother takes the knife, stabs the husband, Evan Bland, into his neck and his head, not only the husband, but then also stabs the daughter. He then calls 911. The 15-month-old baby has been drowned. The police show up, and that's when they show up seeing him bloodied, the 16-year-old daughter bloodied, and then them arresting Precious Bland. Now, Precious Bland has confessed to murdering and killing her, intentionally drowning Emai Bland, the 15-month-old baby, and stabbing her husband and daughter on September 1st. She was discharged from the hospital and arrested on September 2nd. And as of Monday, she is being held without bond at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center in Miami. So now, here we are with another case where the spouse is witnessing their significant other go through a period of poor mental health and showing signs, and again, probably not knowing that this is going to lead even more destructive than what he anticipated. So far that she drowns her baby. This is very unfortunate, and I think what's the most unfortunate thing about this story is that she did this in front of her 16-year-old daughter. She killed her baby in front of her 16-year-old daughter. That daughter will have this for the rest of her life. She'll be stuck with that moment for the rest of her life. Could the father have done something a lot sooner? Could he have called someone? Could he have, talked with her? I imagine so in this situation, simply because he was with her all day and realized that there were signs of agitation. Once she began to run the bathwater and the moment she grabbed the baby, I'm more concerned with where was he? What was he doing? Was her signs, the signs that she was showing, were they not that destructive enough that he thought she was going to do this with the baby? All of those questions run through my mind, like, what could I have done? What signs would I have seen? And it's so weird that COVID-19 has been going on now for about 2 years now. We're going on 2 years since December 2020. And I feel like since December 2019. And so we're going on 2 years now with COVID-19 since December of 2019 when we first started hearing cases, and to just find that, within those 2 years now, she's decided that this is the moment where she thinks Jesus Christ is coming back and he's getting his people and he's killing, all, whatever theories or beliefs she has. It took to this moment makes me think that it wasn't just COVID-19. Like, there was some serious mental health issues there. Clearly, you drop down and tell me what you think. As the spouse, do you think he had any other options to save his baby? Do you think that there were signs prior to this that she was becoming deeply agitated and deeply worrisome about, the end of life? And then how do you feel about the 16-year-old daughter witnessing this? And, she's of sound in mind. If you remember, when you were a 16-year-old, and you're very much so aware of what's going on and you can interpret those things. And so I'm sure once she's out of the hospital, she has a lot of emotional trauma, questions, wondering what's going on. But how do you think she is receiving this? And do you think that her getting the knife for her mother was her being deeply naive, or do you think that she should have had the wherewithal to say no in this situation, hearing her father struggling in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and seeing her drown her baby sister? Yeah, you let me know what you think. And until next time, deuces.